Welcome to EduChats, where we put the hottest topics within education first. We are subsidiary to EduFirst, a non-profit charity which strives to ensure that children receive the best possible education. I'm Jermaine, and I'm here today with Baylie and Fesal.
Yeah.
And we'll be discussing entrepreneurship within education. So to start off, what do you both do, like outside of work or outside of life?
Want me to go first? Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess to briefly introduce myself, I go by the name of Fesal. I work as a sales apprentice. Been doing that for a year now, and as well as that, I do a bit of serial entrepreneurship. I tap into things here and there. Currently, I'm doing rent to service accommodation. Which means I rent out studio facilities to studio creatives and people that just feel like they need a space to film and record. So I do that on the side, and I try to look into other stuff that potentially could allow for more scalability for myself as well, because got a true passion for this entrepreneurship stuff. But
so what would you say, like, where did that passion start? What goaded you into entrepreneurship, would you say?
do you know what that question is? It's a funny one, because I feel like it started like ever since I was young, and it's weird because I was kind of like nurtured into this whole sort of like building up your own thing, and going for your own stuff, following your dreams, chasing your ambitions. I feel like starting out, like it never really came to me. Like, even when I was younger, I always used to say I wanted to be a businessman, and I never even knew what that meant. Like,
You just
honestly,
saw the man in ties and
Exactly,
suits and thought,
literally.
briefcase, I want that to be me.
Exactly. So I was that type of person. I was like, businessman. That sounds kind of that.
They got money.
Exactly. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to be. But every time I was asked like, what business do you want to go into, I was like stuttering. I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
But then soon enough, like my passion for it reignited when I first started out in sixth form. Okay, so this is an interesting story. So when I first started out in sixth form, my GCSE grades going into sixth form were all right, to say the least. Like, I did very well in the logical subjects like science, maths, the ones that there's a correct answer to it.
That's the opposite.
Yeah.
I was good at the English and the history.
Yeah, I was not good at that at all. I'm not gonna lie to you. So like when it came to so how they like the teachers like urge you to go into subjects that you're good at, just do what you're good at and stuff. So I just took their advice on that. Went into sixth form doing A-level chemistry, A-level biology, AS level maths, and A-level psychology. 3 days in, dropped it, switched to, and then I was given almost an ultimatum. I either had to pick BTech business and just do that as a subject for the remainder of my time in sixth form, or they were going to kick me out of the sixth form.
Wow.
So, I went with the latter. I didn't go with the latter. I went with the BTech option, and I think that's where I started to really get in touch with my sort of entrepreneurial side as well back again. And when I kind of realized that this was for me and this is what I wanted to be, was when we did like a winter fair event in school. So we were like, we would put into teams, and did
you have to like come up with your own idea?
Exactly. So we had to come up with our own ideas, what we needed to sell. The whole aim of it was to boost morale in the winter months where people are like doing exams and stuff. And then we went with candy floss and popcorn. We thought, yeah, you know what? Like, we're just gonna go into this. We're gonna wing it. And 3 days in, we made over £300.
No way.
So like averaging £100 a day. And I was thinking, hold on. So you mean to tell me I'm going to work to make? And at that time, I was making like £5 an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work to make £5 an hour when I could be making £100 a day. Just providing a service or delivering to customers and stuff. And that's really what, like, it all started to make sense to me right then and there. And I think from there, I just really continued on, did a lot of stuff, but I'm not gonna say too much. I'm gonna let you carry on with.
Oh, that sounds good, man. Selling candy floss and popcorn, man.
Yeah.
300. That's a talent.
It's crazy.
That is a talent. So just quickly, stepping back to your subjects in A levels.
Yeah.
Did you drop psychology and then go to business?
Yeah, so
That's exactly what I did.
I actually wanted to stick with psychology. That was the subject that kind of I resonated a lot more with than biology, chem.
Yeah.
Just because like I felt like psychology is, even that in itself, it's integrated in business quite well as well. You need to know how the customer thinks, target audience, all of this, marketing. It's all like aligned well with psychology. But I didn't know that back then. I just thought, wow, it's like an interesting subject. But now, like in hindsight, I feel like that's probably why I was interested in it so much. But yeah, that's what I did personally. I don't think, not to discredit anyone that did psychology or did A level maths or A level bio chem. That's just me personally. I just thought I went with my passion rather than going with what made sense at the time because of my grades and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that's a big like a big thing for entrepreneurs. Is like they often go with their passions rather than following the traditional route of like university or the traditional school route that they give us. They go with something that they actually enjoy and they create something good. Like
Definitely.
they create something that they enjoy as well, and something that's not only benefits themselves but benefits other people as well. Like you said, a service.
Yeah.
So leading on, Baylie, what do you do?
So I'm a paid media executive at a recruitment company called Wiser. I'm also social media manager of EduFirst. And then I have a graphic t-shirt business called Love It's Tees. We do. I do this. I say we. It's just me. It's really just me. But yeah, we do graphic t-shirts, hoodies, customized clothing, mugs, tote bags, key rings. Yeah.
Wow. And I think that's important to note as well. It's just you starting out in this entrepreneurship thing. It's always just you. I feel like proof of concept's a big thing in entrepreneurship. Like you have to prove that it works first before you're able to like scale a team and stuff. But I think it's always starting out. Just you have to have that ability to become like a self-starter, which is quite amazing to see.
I don't think I'd ever even want to scale to a team.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
That's interesting. Why do you think that?
Because I think I've done it for 2 years on my own, and I'm very particular in the way that it's done.
Yeah.
I know what I want from this.
Yeah.
I know how I want things to look, how I want people to feel about it, and I don't think I'm ready anytime soon to pass that on to someone else.
Yeah, I get it. I think I've seen that a lot as well. Like speaking with like a lot of entrepreneurs, there's like almost like being out of control makes you a little bit uneasy.
Yeah.
Especially it's like because you build it, you've been with it for so long. It's your idea, it's your concept. To detach yourself away from that, it's almost like detaching a mother away from this baby. Like, it's too much.
Yeah, it's my baby.
Yeah, I think I've been through that as well. But I think I've kind of learned to be a lot more laissez-faire. I think that's the word in terms of my management approach. I try to like delegate as much as possible, as well as that still be intact with the business, still provide leadership, still provide vision. And the business that I'm sort of referring to here is the liquid business. So a liquid, in essence, is the it's not a business yet because we don't offer any products or services. The only thing that we do is the studio side of things. But the whole concept is to help entrepreneurs go from idea to reality.
Yeah.
Oftentimes that's the hardest part for entrepreneurs, to get all the thoughts and the ideas that you have in your head and just take the first step. I feel like even that's what I struggle with as well, personally. How do I go about doing this? You almost try to like convince yourself out of it sometimes when you have such a great idea. This is like my belief, is that I feel like every person, no matter if you're born entrepreneur, if you're like if you study to become one, if you study business management or whatever, I feel like every person has a $1 million idea in them. It's just about taking the first step and then following on from that, creating a plan, building a team or whatever the case may be. It depends upon your own priorities. what you decide to do with that is based on you. But I think oftentimes just helping somebody go take the first step is the best thing that you could do for someone.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think that's really good. As in, like you said, everybody has. I've thought of about 20 business ideas, but I haven't started my own business yet because one, I think is very scary. I think it's a scary thing to actually put your idea and take a risk, because it is a risk, because you have to often buy stuff or not waste time, but you have to invest time, invest money, invest all these things into something that might not work because there's not a set pathway. There's not a boss telling you, okay, you need to do this now and you can get this. It's all you. So I think it's definitely really scary, and like pretty lonely as well. Like, just going back to your point, you said you wanted to, like, you feel a way about scaling to a team. It's your baby. But would you say like the process has been lonely almost? It's just you don't have a boss looking over you, helping you.
Yeah, I'd say like every single part of it has been so lonely. Obviously it is what it is. It's a part of what comes with it.
Yeah.
But so lonely. And then for me, what the hardest thing is that like no one really gets it. So it's just hard. Like no one understands that I've got to go home and I've got to make a week's worth of TikToks. Or no, I can't do this because I got 10 customs that I need to do that I told the customer they would have a few days ago, and I've had a creative block. Like, it's hard for people to understand it. Obviously, it's not their faults at all, but that's something that I definitely struggled with, especially at the start, was just like no one really got it apart from me. And I would find myself getting angry at people like, why don't you get it? Like, I need to make this, I need to do this. But yeah, I would say that bit is the loneliest part.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you feel the same way, like starting yours?
Definitely, it's finding someone that thinks the same way as you.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of the times what I do is I try to encourage, when speaking to like new entrepreneurs or whatever, I try to encourage people, just go to networking events, go to meet like-minded people where you don't feel a little bit isolated, you don't feel lonely, you don't feel like a freak talking about like, because you're so obsessed with this concept, it's your idea. You see, nobody else is gonna see what you see in this business idea.
And that's why I could never scale to a team.
Exactly, it's true, it's true. But I think that's that ability to scale a team. It's about empowering somebody to see what you're seeing almost, and it's quite hard to do, to be fair. So it's like I've personally, with my team, I've had to do a lot of convincing. A lot of the times they haven't been swayed by the decisions that I've made. Like we've got into like a lot of disagreements and stuff. But a lot of the time it's about finding those people that you know that will be with you in the long run, which is quite hard to do. Especially if you don't have the capital to invest in those people initially, they just have to be the ones that's driving it with you.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think it is definitely lonely. I would say so. It's that feeling of just feeling a little bit like a freak. Just you've got this thing in your head, and somehow you're meant to make it work. And somehow these people that you don't know are just meant to believe in you, just because of the idea that you have. It's hard to do, to be fair, but I think that's just the realities of it. That's why I say that it's almost a character. You have to have a certain type of character trait to become an entrepreneur in the long run. I think you can be an entrepreneur and make a quick buck, like how I did initially when I first started out as an entrepreneur. My first ever type of business, so that there was that candy floss and popcorn that we did as a team, as almost like a school type of project. But the one that I did by myself was a clothing brand business, and it was to do with entrepreneurship and stuff, because it was something that I was quite passionate about back then as well. It was called the dinero culture. It's not running, so don't try to look it up. So don't try to order anything off there. But yeah, we just sold like hustle culture related stuff, and it was, I feel like at the start you always get a quick buck, because you always get people that try to support you, like close friends, family. That's always inevitable. But I think as you go along, it's about how do you maintain that?
Yeah.
And then that's the scary part.
Because sometimes there might be a little dip.
Exactly.
And then once there's that, I feel like all these feelings of fear might come out, like, oh,
Yeah.
I've invested all of this and, you know, I've had one sale over the past week. You start stressing.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, it's about how you stick with it.
Yeah.
It will always get better.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Very up and down journey, very much
Yeah.
a roller coaster, to say the least. And I think it's you need to be able to have confidence in yourself, to choose that as a career path. And I do encourage people to become entrepreneurs and try to, if you have an idea, just take that first step. Don't try to think too much. Like, obviously look at the end goal, where you want to be, but don't think about the in between stuff. Like, oh, I need to like hire a team, I need to deal with contracts, I need to do business admin, I need to deal with finances, or taxes. I'm not gonna lie, taxes. That's the thing that I try to think about the least. You know, that's the last thing.
Don't we all, man? Don't we all?
You know what I mean? So, like, yeah. So just don't think about the little stuff. Just do the things that you can do, that you know are within your control.
Yeah.
Whether it's just like starting up a TikTok page, as you said, like I know you manage your own TikToks. So how do you deal with it? Do you like do the start? Do you like plan it out?
So this is probably even gonna seem so crazy, like, to people watching this. So the end of every month, I sit down and I brainstorm everything I've seen on TikTok recently. So like trends, trending sounds, things like that. I write that down. Then I write down everything I want to show. So like my products more so. So the 2-pack tea. And then I go on to styling videos. Something that I've been doing a lot more recently is like actually putting the products on myself and styling them with things, because I found on TikTok that's really popular.
Yeah.
So I make a list of like 200 ideas for TikTok. I then go in and I have this app called Trello. So I then plan them every day for the month. Yeah, which is just long. So if you're trying to shout me the last few days of a month, yeah, I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out.
DND.
Yeah. So it's like it's a very long process. So I literally plan my month out day by day. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna post these 5 TikToks on this day. Then I'm gonna share this to my reels on Instagram. Then I'm gonna put this on my story over the reel to get more views on the reel. Yeah. Like, this is my brain 24/7. It's scary.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds draining as well.
Yeah. And then you have to sit there and make the TikToks. That's the hardest part. The planning, it's kind of fun. I like to be organized. I like to plan things. But it's actually the sitting down and making them. That's the hardest part for me. So most times I won't even complete that month. Like, I've planned it out, but to come and sit down and make those TikToks, it's just long.
Yeah, it is. It's the execution always.
Yeah.
So, there's a thing that, like, a concept that I kind of read up on a little bit. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. If I'm not, then you guys can cut it out. But it's a term called mental masturbation. So almost like you're in your head so much, but when it comes to the execution part of it, you kind of delay it, which is why there's the procrastination side of it. That's where that comes into play. It's the idea of it that almost like it's exhilarating. Yeah. It's so exciting to do. I've had one idea, for example, like I wanted to start like a slushy type business in the summer. I know that it would do well.
For sure.
Yeah. Everybody knows you're gonna be making money, but then like I kind of kept delaying it. This was an idea I've had for years, never really started on it. So you can tell, like, even people that are entrepreneurs, they go through this. These are normal human things. Like, people that are high achievers, they still go through mental masturbation, still go through procrastination, delaying stuff. As Baylie said, it's the execution side of it.
Yeah.
That's the longest part. But I think it's also the part that's most exciting as well. Being part of an entrepreneur, I think it's that execution side. It's always being on your toes, never knowing what to expect next. And I think that's the what's it called, like, difference between being an entrepreneur and then working that 9-to-5 job, that you already know what's coming next, or you need to do 1-to-1 with the manager every Monday morning. Then at the end of the week, you got to send out the emails, check them. That part is like that's. I think that's why I try to encourage people, like, just follow what you feel is your passion, you know. And then that's the bright side of entrepreneurship as well.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously you do both, right? You do an apprenticeship, so you work that is it 9 to 5?
Yeah.
So you work that 9 to 5, but you also, follow your own passions and you're interested in entrepreneurship. You have your own ideas and your own businesses,
Yeah,
as well, that are coming to fruition. Would you say, like, do you have a preferred route? So which one do you enjoy more? Which one is the one that you see yourself doing in the long run? Would it be like the apprenticeship? Because I do an apprenticeship too. So obviously, there's almost a set roadmap. Like mine is 6 years, and then you might get a role at the company or go into a different company, and then it's almost a set route that you'll do. With small businesses and entrepreneurship, it's not really set out like that. Obviously, you have your own goals and your own plans, but it's not almost like a roadmap.
Yeah.
So would you say, like, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer having that set goals, or do you prefer having your own personal goals?
For me personally, I would say, I've always been the type of person, I've always wanted to like do my own thing, pursue my own passion, build my own thing from the ground up. Because I guess I've always been that type of person personally. But as for the apprenticeship side of things, I think that is an essential part of my life that's really needed to build the groundworks, and the foundation. And one thing I like to say is, as an entrepreneur, you're always the student. You're never gonna know it all. And I think if you go into entrepreneurship thinking that you know it all, then you'll get disciplined. You'll you'll know very, very quickly that you're just not. You don't know it all, because you like, think about it like this: there's a marketplace and there's a set amount of customers that you can reach, and everybody wants a piece of that pie. And you, being the little fish, not knowing too much, thinking that you know it all, enters this marketplace. You're going to be going up against some big contenders, and as well as that, some big customers as well that are going to be demanding quite a lot. So you need to be able to first become the student, and this is what the apprenticeship is allowing me to do. Going into sales, especially, I feel like sales and marketing are two drivers of a business. Like, if you don't know how to do sales and marketing, I'd suggest firstly learn about that first, and then go into entrepreneurship. But as well as that, if you have an idea, start it. Even if you know it will fail, start it, because that's your biggest teacher as well. So being a student in all facets, all aspects of entrepreneurship is key, I think, to the success. And it's something that I've seen studying quite a lot of successful entrepreneurs as well, is that you have to position yourself to be on the back foot in any situation, before trying to strive along, before you trip up and fall. But I think almost viewing, I feel like the reason why I can say personally that I like the entrepreneurship path a lot more, because I almost view it as a game. Like, it's a little bit weird. I don't know if this is normal, but I kind of
hear it.
Yeah. Like, I view it as a game, because that's what makes it so exciting. The fact that you can view it as a game that you can, like, almost try and fail, but you can still get back up, and it's not going to be the life or death situation if you fail. Money always comes and goes, and you kind of see how it works. Why do people buy this? Why do people that? How, and it's almost trying to figure that out as well, is the game part of it. Like, figuring out the cheat codes. Oh, how did this person get there? Like,
well, I think there's also a lot of psychology that goes behind it.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't realize before I started my business, but like, there's just so much I can't say psychology that goes into it, and that leads people to buying.
Yeah,
that I just never would have thought of before. So I think, like, crazy. If you are looking to start something up, that would be one of the first things I would look into, is the psychology behind a business.
Yeah, because it's crazy, because I feel like the psychology, this is why, going back to the psychology, like, I always loved it, because it's the idea, like, what really motivates someone, and it's the fact that as humans, we think we're all different, but we're so similar.
We're all the same,
like,
man.
We're so similar in terms of, like, there's similar customer buying behaviors, habits that we all get into. We all seem to do the same thing. Some in some places, and it's like it's figuring out. It's the fun part of it, almost. You know, it gives you something to live for. Almost, I feel like that's what entrepreneurship does. Rather than, you know, I guess you can find fulfillment in a job as well. I'm not saying that. I'm not discrediting 9 to 5s. I work a 9 to 5 myself. But I'm saying that I feel like it almost gives you something to like look forward to, almost, you know, like you're always trying to figure this out. It's like it's I don't know. It's like it gives you purpose almost. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I find that super interesting. Like, just a bit about me as well. In A levels, well, AS, I picked psychology as well.
Yeah.
And then I dropped psychology as well, and then I done BTEC business as well.
Okay.
But when I was doing psychology, I done it in GCSEs as well. I was always interested in how the mind works and how, you know, why people do different things and why people think about different things and, you know, different behaviors that people go through. But not once did I ever think about the business side of things. It's weird. Like, from what you guys are telling me, there's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like on a business side of things. So like, I've listening to that now, I find super interesting. Yeah. What about you? So obviously you do a 9 to 5 as well.
Yeah.
And you have your own business. So which, like, is there one you prefer, or like?
I wouldn't say that there's one I prefer, but I would say that the one I see myself doing in the long run is my 9 to 5. I never knew when I set up Love It Seas, I set it up in lockdown right at the start. I think it was literally like a week before lockdown.
A lockdown baby.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. So I didn't know how long it was going to last for. I didn't know what the end game was. I was like, I didn't know when the world was going to go back to normal. And at the time I had 2 part-time jobs as well, that I'd been furloughed from one and made redundant from the other. So I didn't know when I was going to start working again. So I had no idea. But through the 2 years of having Love It's Teas, I've learned so much about myself, and I've kind of shown to myself that I could do this again. I could do it again. So whereas with my 9 to 5, that's life. I'm enjoying my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if I was to stop Love It's Teas, it wouldn't be the end of entrepreneurship for me.
Yeah.
I know that I've done it. I know I'm capable of doing it, and I'd be able to learn from my mistakes. So the next time I'd remember everything from Love It's Teas and would be able to apply this so that I can be even more successful next time.
Yeah. I think there's something about entrepreneurship that's really interesting as well, is about how fluid it is. You can go into one profession, for example, you know, graphic t-shirts, and let's say, you know, you can move on to different things. You can then go into, I don't know, selling candy floss and popcorn or something. Like, you pick up skills with it, and I think that's so important, like marketing skills and selling skills. And of course you can get them from university or school or like education, but I think when you're actually doing it, and when you're actually like, you're the person doing it as well every day, you really pick up those skills really quickly, I think.
And I think on that note as well, it's building the businesses. You build up skills that I guess you wouldn't being in the 9 to 5, because I feel like the reason why you're in the 9 to 5 is the way it is because you're meant to be specialist in a specific role. But as an entrepreneur, you're delving into all of the different departments.
Definitely.
So your HR, your finance, your all of these, for your marketing, your sales. So you almost pick up these skills, and these skills are all transferable onto building on other, like if you think about all the biggest companies in the world, they've all got HR departments. They've all got finance departments. They've all got sales and marketing, and it's because you are putting on all of these different hats. You have to be specialist in all of these different areas, rather than in your 9 to 5, you're kind of like one specific. So one specific type of role, which isn't a bad thing. Like I feel like this is one quote that I always live by myself is, a jack of many trades is a master of none.
I like that.
You have to be a master of one trade to really see success in it. So even like the best of entrepreneurs, you kind of see that they're better at one thing than doing the rest. Even though they already know how to do the rest, it's like that's why they that's why they hire
specialists for their team. Yeah,
exactly. So it's that mentality, which is why I think you see a lot of serial entrepreneurs being made. Like, I don't know if Love is Teas, Baylie, is like your end goal. I mean, I know you mentioned that you wanted to like stick to the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But do you see yourself doing any other type of business, like just out of curiosity?
Oh, I mean, like, I have a background in fashion anyway, so I was always going to do something to do with fashion and clothing. And I think, yeah, if I was to start another business, it would probably be the same. I think it would be nice to go into like a different field, but I do think fashion is what I know.
Yeah.
So I would probably do the same.
Yeah. That's pretty fair. But I think I feel like she now has the abilities to.
Definitely.
You could go into
Yeah.
do something else, but it's just because you just don't have the passion for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of stopping you, but it's not. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of leading on from that, if I didn't start Love It's Teas, I wouldn't have my job today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was doing fashion buying and brand management at uni. And it was just it was fun. I was enjoying it. But yeah, so that's how I got into marketing, was through Love It's Teas, doing like the social media, doing the emails and all of that. That's when I realized I like this. This is fun. I like making these emails.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I realized, like, I can make a career out of this. Like, I can actually get paid to do this.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I like marketing. And then towards, I think it was like my 3rd year, my uni course got more marketing focused anyway. So that's when I started to like uni even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like applying for jobs, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm going to do marketing. And that's where I am today, doing marketing.
Wow.
Yeah. But without Love It's Teas, I don't think I would have made that shift from straight fashion. Like, I wanted to be a fashion buyer. So that's quite a big jump going from fashion buying to marketing.
Yeah, it is. It is, honestly. And I think I can agree with you there, because I initially had no intentions to go into a 9 to 5. Me personally, I was always that person like, oh, like university's a scam. But I think obviously as you grow older, you kind of realize these things, like university is kind of necessary in certain fields. And whatever you want to do personally, it's up to you. And I think, like, going back to that, when I started my businesses, I started with the intentions to like help me. Firstly, because I grew up in a household with African parents, so university was it wasn't a choice; it was mandatory, you know. But I think, like, I thought if I could make enough money to persuade my parents, then surely then they would like give me, like, they would let me off, you know. But so I kind of went in with that mentality. But then my boy kind of brought up the idea of an apprenticeship, and it just made a lot more sense. So I just applied to it. I applied to many, actually. Got turned down by many. Failure is natural. It's part of the game. But and then got there. And I think from that, I feel like from building the business, it differentiated me from all the other candidates that were applying for apprenticeships straight from sixth form or whatever they were doing before, because it can, like, and I think that's the amazing part of an entrepreneurship, is you can do whatever you want to do. You're not limited by anything. You could be selling rocks that you're picking up off the floor and you're painting on. You get what I mean? Like, it's anything. Like, you can sell absolutely anything. Yeah. But it also allows you to build those skills to get you into careers that you never thought that you would be able to before. And I think that's something that I never really realized, is that when you're filling out your CV, under experience, you could put any type of experience, even if it's in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, still experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I never actually realized that until, like, I got into sales and I got into my apprenticeship, and really what differentiated me was having that business experience that not everybody else could say at that time, and
sets
that
you
age.
apart.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
so. Obviously, you mentioned that like, within any business, there's always that chance to fail, right? Or not fail, but there's always setbacks and things that don't always go your way. Did you experience any like major setbacks that made you think, I don't even want to do this anymore? Or like, was anything strong enough to change your mind?
I think many, in terms of setbacks, many setbacks. 100% many setbacks. First of all, like when I first started out my clothing brand business, it was just before the lockdown. So just before Corona, just before everything. I was thinking, I was bringing these. So bear in mind, I wasn't operating online. I was just bringing these the shirts that I made into school and just selling them in school. Getting like pre-orders in and like just selling it in school and stuff. I was like, business is booming. I'm gonna be calm. But then we get hit with the lockdown. Schools are closed. Okay, now I'm out of business. What am I gonna do now? And then that's where I was like, okay, what do I do now? Like that's probably the biggest setback that I've experienced personally. Like being in that situation, it's never happened to anyone before. So even trying to look on the internet, like you know, when you can't look to any mentors in that situation. You can't. Nobody knew the answer. Nobody had the answer to that question. So, for me, it was just trying to figure out what to do with myself in that time. You know, because as my passion for entrepreneurship grew, my sort of academic side, it kind of like my passion for that, like it kind of it got taken away from me a little bit, like because I was like pivoting myself to focus just on this entrepreneurship type of thing, and I think that's just the type of person I am. When I'm so focused on and fixated on something, like you may not hear from me, as Baylie said, when I'm so like, if all my energy is in this one thing, you might.
That's it. You're not coming out. Don't call me for sure.
Exactly.
No, like we're not going outside. Like
we're not outside. We're not outside at all. But so like that's probably the biggest setback I faced, and that's probably where I was getting like questions in my mind, like, do I really want to do this? You know, was it just a one-time gig? But then I think I just couldn't look past the fact that I could change my whole life, and seeing other people change their whole lives just from pursuing what they thought was their passion. Yeah. And like, why wouldn't I do that? It's a win-win situation. For sure. But obviously, as you said, there's that possibility of failure and stuff, and failure does happen. But then I just learned myself, it's just it's the nature of it. Yeah. You learn from your failures. They're not failures. They're not losses. They're lessons. 100%. That's how I look at it.
100%. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's just the best way you can look at it, to be fair.
Yeah, no, that's something I've always said. Like, if you go on my LinkedIn, I've wrote about 5 posts on just failure and like how it's actually a good thing. It's like you learn every time you fail. It's like, okay, why did I fail? You have to look at it, and then you see certain reasons of why you failed, and you can now get over them and it, prevent them from happening next time. Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely failures. Exactly. Failure's a good thing. Obviously, it's not a good thing, but it's a good thing because it can allow you to progress and be even better in the long run.
Exactly. And even on that as well, I was gonna say, like, even if you're like winning so much, you start to like question, like, okay, why am I winning so much? What did I do? Is there's something coming? Like, I'd be a little bit scared myself, like 100%. Because like if I'm having a win streak for so long, the failure that's gonna come is gonna be a huge one because you don't learn anything from those wins. Yeah, you just know that you're doing well. You don't know what to change or what to improve, or what to adjust, or how to adapt. But then, so when the loss comes, it's gonna be a huge one. Yeah,
and when that happens, it like it must rock you. Like it must, like, you've been winning for so long. Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
That's what I'm saying. When you're winning for so long, question it. Question it for sure.
100%. Yeah. Baylie, what about you? Like, have you experienced any major setbacks, or like, not even major setbacks, just setbacks in general with Love It Season? Like, how did you get over them?
Yeah, I'd say there's been loads. Like, I don't know. For me, COVID was good and bad that whole period, because it's like, how can I expect these people to shop with me when they don't know whether their money's coming or going, whether their jobs are coming and going? Like, I can't expect these people to shop with me. Yeah. At the same time, I also had all this time on my hands. to sit there and I could spend a whole day making designs. I could spend a whole day, I don't know, making emails, like things like I had that time that I don't have now and I haven't had for a while. So I'd say COVID was a bit of a setback, but then you've also got like the cost of living crisis now. Again, I can't expect people to shop with me. Like, it's hard out here. Obviously, if people do decide to shop with me, I'm so grateful, but I can't expect that anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us really know how like the next few months are going to go. The next year's going to go. We don't know. All we can go on is what we hear on the news, but it's like, I think the cost of living is going to hit people, a lot of businesses as well. I think it's going to hit them like mad. So again, if people shop with me, that means so much because you're shopping with me when times are hard, but I think that's a setback that's gonna start making its way through soon. But then also like mental health and personal stuff, again, when it's just you and no one else. If I have a bad mental health day, no one else can come in and pick up my shit. It's just me.
It's true.
Or even like when it's my, let's just be real, when it's my time of the month, I've got no motivation, nothing at all. I just want to lay in bed. I can't do that. I've got a business to run. And no one can come and do it for me. It's me. It's all me. So sometimes that can be a bit of a setback. And then obviously the work-life balance as well. Like, summer's just been here. I want holidays. I went on holiday with my girls. I want to see my girls all the time. Like, because I'm also 21, so I should be living my life. If someone calls me, let's go out. Okay, let's go. Oh, no, actually, I got TikToks to do. I got customers to sort of like.
It's the end of the month, man. Don't call her then.
Yeah, exactly. I'm planning shit. So I think there's always setbacks. But again, I do think setbacks happen for a reason. There are always things to learn. But I think I've definitely had quite a few setbacks. And there's been times where I felt like giving up, for sure. Even recently, like it all builds up as well, especially when you're on your own. It does all build up. And it's something that like a lot of people can't really understand. Like, for example, if I say to my mum, I've got these to do, I've got this to do. She's like, okay, well, just maybe chill tonight and do it tomorrow. And I'm like, Mum, I can't. I love you, but I can't do that. That's not how it works in my world. I can't. Even though sometimes I would love to just lay in bed and do nothing and just turn my phone off, but there's just too much responsibility.
That's what I'm saying. And I think it goes back to that. You kind of feel like a freak, you know? Like you're doing something that not other people are like. Normal people on a Friday or Saturday night, they're going out. You're indoors, you're working on sending emails, you're doing admin. And it's like, that's the part of it. It's like, that kind of makes you feel isolated. It makes you feel bad. And it kind of, that leads to those thoughts of, oh, is this really for me? Like,
definitely,
am I doing what's right? Like, because you're kind of not following the crowd at that point. You're going your own direction. That's the whole part of entrepreneurship. It's taking the risk to go into your own direction, take your own path, which is quite hard to do. The crowd's going this way, you're going that way. But I mean, it's just the nature of it, really. And I think
just is what it is.
Exactly, it's the nature of it. It's how it's meant to be. And I think, honestly, I think Baylie, I know it's hard to do, especially right now, like knowing that this is your baby and stuff, but I think having a team would help out massively. If you can find the right people, obviously, that see what you need to see. You may have to do like a little bit of like convincing or whatever. But I do think like in those times where you kind of feel like you need picking up, I think I've had that even recently. Like even a phone call from one of the teammates, like, oh, how are you doing? Like, because I haven't heard from you in time. Because as the team leader or as like somebody that they look up to, they're wondering, okay, why didn't we receive updates this morning? Or why didn't we receive updates? Like, why hasn't he nagged at me? Or something like, do you get what I mean? So it's that type, like having a team will always make you'll still feel lonely at times. But at least you know that they're there for you and they see the vision as well as you do. So they're motivated by it. And I think it's because you're going in this direction, when people still see that you're doing well, it's that proof of concept. When people see that you're doing well, they'll naturally try to tag along with you. And you're still leading that path. And sometimes you don't know what's the next turn, what happens next. But it's just knowing that you're gonna get to the end of the destination, which is why I think team building and that delegating, it's a part of entrepreneurship that scary, you know, trying to delegate,
Definitely.
like not being in control and stuff. But I think it has to happen at some point, you know.
Yeah. I think things would be different, but like I have such a great support network. So even though people do call me or text me and be like, "Oh, you coming out?" or whatever, like my friends and my family are so supportive. Like my girls, I don't even have to ask. They're always resharing my stuff or buying my stuff and things like that. The same with you. You'll take me to the post office. You've done a whole day at work and I'm like, yeah, can you take me post office, please? And then my parents as well. Like when I started to switch the business up and I started printing myself rather than like paying a supplier. Another setback that I just wouldn't have bothered with. But yeah, like they let me use their front room until like 1 a.m. sometimes. I took up the front room. They also brought me like the machine that I needed and things like that. So I do have such a supportive network right now. The people that I'm surrounding myself with are just the best and I couldn't ask for better. But yeah, I think having such a good support network really helps.
100%. I've also got one question as well. You know, I know you mentioned like during times of crisis and like economic downturn and stuff, people like don't really have the cash and you're expecting them and you can't expect them to buy from you anymore. But I guess during those time periods, how do you feel when people still shop with you? Or if in an occasion where like you're seeing like an incline in sales, how do you feel personally? Just so I can understand that.
I'm just like over the moon. Sometimes I can't believe that I actually have a business, or that it's still going after over 2 years. So like I got an order the other day and someone ordered like 5 t-shirts and it was like over £100 and I'm like, really? Really? Like, thank you, are you sure? Kind of thing, because like times are hard, they're getting hard, and I think the ages that we are as well, like my target audience are all kind of the same age. Some are younger, some are older. So like some have kids. Like you've chosen to buy with my business instead of saying buying your kid a new toy or something. Like that's such a,
it's because it's
such a big thing.
Yeah, it's because the reason why I asked that question is because I kind of just wanted to see like what your mindset was like from people buying from you. And I think you understand it as well that when people buy from you, it's because they see the value that you're providing to them. Whether it just be an emotional feeling that you're giving them, you're still like you're filling a gap for them and you're helping them out. And I think that's something like an entrepreneur needs to do. You need to be able to see a gap, be able to fill it. If it's emotional, physical, whatever it is, you need to be able to help out people. Which is why I say like entrepreneurs, they almost run the world. I mean, they do run the world at this point. And we need entrepreneurs in society in order to see great things happen and to see development. And like, as bad as it sounds, sometimes like it may be that last piece of change, but they know that they're gonna be like, if it's just gonna be a good feeling, or if it's like gonna help them out in the long run, they know that they're gonna come back to you and they're gonna buy from you.
I think that's what keeps me going, is that like I like the fact that I can make people happy, especially something that I've noticed is through like my custom tees and my personalized stuff. I've had a few weeks ago, I had a woman with like Crohn's disease. She came to me and she wanted a t-shirt so that she could feel a bit more confident and like she could spread awareness. And that was so touching. Like, you've come to me for that. I've had people that have like lost loved ones and have asked for t-shirts in their memory, and that is such a lovely thing that I'm able to provide them with that. There's loads. There's been like mums for their kids' parties, and I don't really do kids' t-shirts, so, but you want that, you want me to do that, I'll do that. There's been so many times where like I've gone out of my way as well, like I've dropped things to their house because they've messaged me 2 days before, and we know what Royal Mail's like. So like there's been times where we've trekked to the other part of London to drop these t-shirts off. Or even yesterday there's a girl that's moving to uni and she was like, I'm moving to uni, like I want these tees. So I was like, no worries, I'll drop it to you. But it's like, it gives them what they want. So of course I'll do it. Like, you've done me a favour, I'll do you a favour. You're deciding to shop with me. If you need me to bring it to you, I'll bring it to you. You shopped with me, thank you. And I think that's why like I get a lot of people come back because they know that I will go out of my way.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm so grateful.
100%.
Yeah.
You're the people's people.
Yeah.
You're the people's person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Basically
me.
the
I'm
Rock.
people's person.
Yeah.
Champion, right? The people's champion.
Yeah.
If only I could do the eyebrow.
But yeah, man, I think that's cool. Like, not only like are you providing them value with like the actual t-shirts or the physical service that you're giving them, you're providing them almost an emotional value as well. Like the fact that they know that you would go out of your way to do something for them. That's why you'll get returning customers. And like you said about entrepreneurs run the world. Like all of these big businesses that we see today, Amazon, Facebook, you know, Target, Asda, Sports
Target?
Direct. I don't know. It just came to my head, but they all started from people like
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos. He started Amazon by himself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he got a big loan or something.
Yeah.
But all these massive businesses we see today, like it started from one person or a small group of people at least. And I think that's crazy. I don't often think about how, like, you just think about the business. You think about Amazon, or you think about like, you never think about that there was actually so much that went into getting them to where they are now. Like
Exactly.
it's a crazy journey, I think, entrepreneurship.
Even just Oprah Winfrey, like being the first, like I think she was the first black billionaire that's like a woman or something like that.
Yeah.
That's inspirational. Like I'm thinking, people are thinking, wow, she's so rich. I'm thinking, wow, how many people must have she provided value to get to that figure? Like
100%.
she must have been quite a influential person. And I'm not a follower of Oprah Winfrey. I haven't seen her work, but to know that she's on that level in terms of net worth, she must be like quite an amazing person.
Yeah, definitely. I think like for me as a woman of colour with my own business, she's up there for inspiration. She's smashed it.
Exactly.
So, and to see that people like Oprah can do it, it's good to make you realise that shit, I can do it.
Exactly.
If Oprah can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's sick, man. Like, just one last thing, because we do need to wrap up soon. What advice would you give to like young people listening, who are maybe still in school or maybe still in uni, but just young people maybe they have that $1 billion idea in their head? What advice would you give to them to maybe make that, come to fruition?
Start.
Take that leap.
Go for it.
Literally.
Go for it.
Start. But like literally reach out to me. If you need money to start, I'll give you money. I've honestly, I've done this before. Like, I've given out business models to like my friends and stuff because they were like struggling with like starting a business. I've given money to like my younger siblings, my cousins. I've even done this thing, like I posted on TikTok. So I used to be quite active on TikTok. Like I created an account. The video that I posted like got like over 300,000 views.
Oh.
Wow.
And it was like kids try business, like a concept where I basically funded my little brother's business with a £10 note. So you can start with anything. So a £10 note, and it was a sweet business. So we just got like sweet cones, sweets. He went into the park and started to sell it to the people there, and he made his money back. And I think like knowing that is possible is enough motivation to people, and it's why I shared it. So if there's any advice that I could give, start. Just start. Trust me.
Yeah.
You may fail, you may not. But knowing that you may not fail is good enough a reason to start.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, life's not easy. You're gonna get setbacks. There's gonna be things that really get to you.
Yeah.
But give it a go. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, you've learned. You've given it a go and learn from your mistakes. But I would say to definitely like plan, not entirely plan everything, but like you can't just wake up one day and go, I'm going to start a business. Like there's a lot that goes on behind it, and I would always recommend just doing a little bit of research.
Yeah, definitely.
My business, I didn't know, again, like I said earlier, I didn't know how long it was going to last. I didn't know the logistics of it all. It was, right, I want to start doing graphic t-shirts. I taught myself Photoshop. I didn't have a clue how to use Photoshop. I taught myself that, taught myself like bits of marketing.
Mhm.
So I would definitely recommend to do a bit of research, like figure a few things out and then give it a go. But yeah, I would say for me personally, it's not one of those things where you can just wake up and say, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like, not all of us have that privilege to just wake up and go, right, there's all the money, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I've had to work for it. It's not just come to me. I've had to work for this. So I would say, yeah, definitely plan a little bit. Yeah.
Plan a little bit, but
Yeah.
then start after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that leap.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thank you so much, both of you.
No problem.
It was really good hearing about both of your experiences. Obviously, I don't have my own business, but now I might shout you for that
Yeah.
for
I
that
was going to
£10
say,
note
you
to
told
start.
me some of your ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Might start selling candy floss and popcorn or something,
Yeah.
man. But yeah,
On the
no.
corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good thing. It's really good stuff, and something I would just say to both of you is just keep going. Like, when it gets hard, keep going, because you can become the next Jeff Bezos. I don't know if that's
I don't
what you
want
want
to
to
be Jeff
become,
Bezos.
but
I don't want to be him.
Yeah.
but
I don't want to keep my hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just keep going. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Cheers.
Appreciate it.